You already know. Grit, grind, and growth, man. Welcome to the Dynamic Podcast, where real people become dynamic humans. This is your host, former UConn legend, AD, Andre Dixon himself, man. We got something special for y'all, for the city, not only for the city, but for the tri-state area, for the fucking world, man. We're going to turn up. I got my cousin here, too, Dave Fitzpatrick, man.
Yo,
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, cuzzo. This is Dynamic Podcast. We're coming to you straight out of Hartford, Connecticut. And this isn't just a podcast. This is a digital extension of everything we live, breathe, and everything we've built here at Dynamic Human Performance. We're here to have a great time.
And listen, first episode, man. I know people usually start shit and crack it off, and I want to kind of introduce y'all to what we doing, man. So, y'all know I started from a box and went all the way to a building. Been doing it since 2011, and I don't feel like enough people know exactly what's going on here, who we service, what we do, what our services are, kind of what we provide and how we help and give back to the community, and change lives. And I feel like we aren't just doing this for Connecticut. Like, what I'm saying? We're doing this for everybody, Right. I mean, I'm talking about moms, dads, athletes, the everyday person. This is going to be something for them to tap in and kind of get a feel, what we doing right here in CT, right here in Hartford. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then once again, for the people who already go here to this gym, not only do you have all the classes that we offer here, but this is going to be an extension and an addition to your workout and to your routine. You're going to get that audio boost that you need, that audio wisdom, right? That audio workout, that audio motivation that you can put in your car, put in your headphones, right? In between meetings. This is a fitness podcast. This is gonna give you that extra boost you need during those Monday through Fridays that we all know we power through. This is what this is gonna be. You can expect it from an hour to an hour and a half. We're gonna try to give you once a week, Dre? What are you thinking?
I like it. You know what I mean? And turn it up from there, man. You gotta start somewhere and then build on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first thing is about going on, Push that button and get to it. So that's what we're doing.
So once again, this is episode 1, and I think we should start off, Dre. For some of the people who are watching this, they probably don't even know who you are. Yeah. So let me just take it all the way back for somebody who doesn't know you. And are you from Hartford, Connecticut, or where are you from?
It's crazy. I've been out here so damn long that they might think I'm from here, right? It's getting crazy. This is my second home now, but I'm a New Jersey guy, New Brunswick, New Jersey guy. Did my thing back in New Jersey, all-state running back, all that good stuff. And then I had about 5 to 7 full scholarships.
Well, time out. When you say all-state in high school, like what were we talking? You was dominating the state of New Jersey?
Oh, no, we was killing New Jersey, man.
So
you know what I'm saying? Dreads out the helmet before. Y'all know I was one of the original dreads out the helmet guys. Like, I think I shower CT with this. You know what I'm saying? So dreads out the helmet, balling in New Jersey. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was crazy. Rutgers didn't even show me no love, but Connecticut came. Gave me a full ride. North Carolina, full ride. Illinois, full ride. Kentucky, full ride. Temple, full ride.
So was there a point in your high school career that you did something in a game that got like highlights to make a scholarship come, or was it a camp, or was it how did that come about for like athletes who don't even know what it's like to get that phone call from North Carolina?
We had some ballers on our team. I had the number 2 receiver in the country behind Megatron. You know what I mean?
Nah, who's Megatron though? Who Megatron?
Oh yeah, they probably Calvin Johnson. Right. Played with Matt Stafford on the Lions. Yep. Gonna be a Hall of Famer if he isn't already one. Probably first ballot. Dwayne Jarrett was right behind him. Number 2 in the country at receiver. He went to USC. He played with Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, all those guys. So when you had a Pete Carroll and you had a Nick Saban, you know what I mean, coming into our school, watching his film, and I break off a long run. They like, who the hell is this? Who is this guy?
So it's typical that there was probably college coaches at your practice.
Coaches was at coaches was in our hallway. The big name ones was in our hallway. Dwayne had all those guys coming through. So when they came through to see him and they see your film, let me see Dwayne Stockbrock. And you see this other guy break off, dreads out the helmet, balling out, which was me, Andre Dixon. They come and give you a scholarship too, man. I had a whole big laundry bag just full of.
So how does that work? Like, you got a phone call? Did they pull up? They told you? You got an email? Like, when you got a scholarship, like, what do you mean by that?
So when you get a scholarship, you get a letter sent, and they also contact your coach. My coach would bring me in his office, sit me down, and kind of tell me like, "Yo, Temple just offered you." And sometimes they just hit you directly. Like, I started getting so many like full rides and letters and stuff that I didn't even see my Temple scholarship that I had got, because it was mixed into all the letters. So Temple called me one day and they was like, "Hey man, you know you got a full ride from?" I was like, "What?" They was like, "Check your letters." It was a big joint. Open it up and it said, Temple. "We off." Yeah, from Temple. I was like, I ain't even know. You know what I'm saying? So you start getting phone calls where they tell you, you know, sometimes the coach will visit your school. Sometimes the coach will contact your coach directly and let him know what's going on, and your coach could tell you. So it's multiple ways that to it's different now with the portal and all of that. Different. But yeah, it's a different game.
So when you were a senior in high school, did you have like that moment where you had like the 3 hats kind of thing and you pick it up and it's UConn, or like did you know it was UConn from rip? Like how did you land on the UConn Huskies?
I took the visit and it was 2.5 hours away. I'm from the inner city in New Jersey, New Brunswick, New Jersey, the hood. So I'm like, it came down to North Carolina and UConn, and I was like, North Carolina 9 hours from my house, UConn 2.5 hours from my house. How can I get my family out of the hood every other weekend to come and see me? They can't afford to go to North Carolina and drive every weekend, but they can pack up the whole family and take a 2.5 hour drive. So it came down to a real family decision for me, and that's why I picked UConn. And on my day when I decided, I said, you know what? Y'all gonna see me on ESPN. I remember I was on the podium like, yo, y'all gonna see me on ESPN. You know what I mean? Check me out. And I picked UConn. And then also my people from the hood can get out the hood and drive 2.5 hours to come see me. But it was far enough that they couldn't be up there every day, and you know what I mean, all the time. So that's why I picked UConn.
All right, so Andre Dixon from New Brunswick, New Jersey, is in UConn, and what's it like as a freshman walking on campus? What's the culture shock like? Because we're in the woods now, kind of. We're far out.
Yeah, it was different though. Even when I pulled up on campus and I seen cows and a farm to the left and a big chapel on the right, I'm like, yo, where the hell they got me at?
Because UConn's like 20 minutes from Hartford.
Yeah, exactly. It's 30 minutes from Hartford. Right. You know what I mean? You think Connecticut, you think Hartford, Connecticut, you think you're about to be, I thought I was going to be in the city.
Right.
I pull up and it's farmland and the campus is somewhere, Stores, Connecticut. What the hell is in Stores? Only thing in Stores really was, you know what I mean? UConn itself. So
did you have trouble like making friends or adjusting to the culture or making your stamp on the community?
Some of the parts were difficult because I came up here with dreads. Like the coach ain't like the dreads. Like it was different. You know what I mean?
So think about the people. What's the time period too? Because I think the audience got to understand the time
period. Yeah, man. This is 2005. It's 20 years ago.
So I don't even think they even rocking dreads like
that. They wasn't even rocking dreads. I came over here with dreads, so coaching them, trying to get me to cut my hair. You know, the females loved it. Just being honest, but you know what I mean? Some of the dudes on campus started wearing dreads out of nowhere, but nobody really had dreads and dipped in gold with the colored tips like I had. You know what I mean?
Not out here.
Not out here. Not out here. That was more of a Jersey, a North New Jersey thing, Miami, maybe Florida. But yeah, man, it was kind of different. It wasn't hard to make friends. Obviously, when you're on the football team, everybody want to be your friend and want to, you know, party with you and all that shit. So it wasn't hard to make friends, but it was a crazy adjustment, man.
Okay. So now Andre the athlete, you know, you was balling in high school, but we all know high school is high school and Division I college football is Division I college football. So what were you feeling like when you had to compete in that running back room and you're looking to the left and to the right of you and there's all American, all Big East players and professional running backs next to you and you're Andre Dixon. How do you gonna get in the field?
So I'm one of the cats that if I ain't talking shit, if I ain't competing, then make sure you check my temperature and maybe call an ambulance. Because I'm one of them dudes, seriously. I'm going to go head first and go head up with whatever's in my way. And that's the hood mentality. Yeah. Come on, bro. We used to ball up hoodies and knock each other off a hill. Now we got full equipment on and all the proper pad and the best helmets in the country, sponsored by Nike. I feel protected. So I was running through shit when I first got here. You could ask any senior, you know, anybody that visited the practices, like, when you first get there and you're redshirted, you're on a scout team and you're going against the seniors. I was destroying cats, making fuckers fall.
Do you remember that moment where people are like, all right, who's this guy? You know, you're always a new guy. No matter who you are as a freshman, you got to prove yourself in camp or in a drill or on a skelly. Is there like a moment where it's like, okay, that Andre's here?
Inside run.
Tell me about it.
Inside run is no wide receivers. It's probably you, a fullback, and then the linebackers, D lineman, offensive lineman, and ain't no outside. Again, inside run. And it was me and Hargrave. When he see this shit, he gonna be tight that I'm talking about it. And he had league potential. You know, he's supposed to be the best linebacker on our team at that time before Lance Santa took over. I dropped him. I almost made his ass fall. He went down to one hand, bye in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Killed him. It was like, whoa, you heard the whoa. I was like,
it's supposed to be inside run, right?
Yeah.
Nah.
And I'm saying, in the hole, shook him, dropped him. Okay. Damn near dropped him.
Right.
Everybody, woo. And then your confidence started to go like,
okay,
if I almost fucking drop Hargrave,
then what can I do?
What can I do with all these? Like, this is the dude that everybody looking up to, you know what I'm saying? So that was the moment kind of inside running. I'm dropping my shit hat first. I just got here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to run shit over, trying to run through shit. And then the OC came up to me and he was like, well, that's the offensive coordinator. If y'all don't know, he was like, keep running the fucking ball the same way you run it. Right. And he walked away from me. And that's it.
Dropped it.
And it just said, it just kept it. He said, run the fucking ball the same way you run it. Keep running it just like that. And I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out.
And that was your freshman year.
And that was when I got here.
Yeah. When you first got on.
Yeah, got
summer
there.
Camp. Yeah.
Yeah, summer camp.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Seeing what you got.
So you played freshman year, red shirt?
I redshirted.
Redshirt.
But that was, in practice when you first get there, you redshirt, you go against the seniors. You go against, they put the young guys and see what he got. Yeah. But you go against the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then once it gets close to the season, it go 1 versus 1. You know what I mean? And they start doing scrimmages like, different shit like that. But, bro, listen, I was out there running that shit.
Talk about redshirting for a second, because I think a lot of these new athletes and these new era athletes, they want everything right away.
Right away.
I don't even think they understand what it means to not play for a whole year and really dedicate yourself to the off-season grind for an entire season, and to not get that feeling of getting your name called or getting the ball in your hands or making that tackle. Now you gotta be locked away for a whole year. A lot of cats, they'll transfer or they'll not even play.
That shit is out of the window now. You can't really redshirt a guy. And with people getting paid and everybody pocket watching what he getting, you feel like I'm better than him, and all. It's hard for dudes to just sit back in redshirt and, because on the redshirt on every Friday when the team leaves and travel, you got an extra lift. Right. You do get the weekends off, like, you know what I mean? So it's good for some guys. If it's a home game, you go to the home game. You either suit up if it's a possibility you could play, or you're on the sideline, dressed down, kind of cheering the team on.
So you come off this redshirt year, and now you're a redshirt freshman. And what's it looking like now? Are we in the mix?
I had a few seniors in front of me. So, I mean, back then you had to, go through your shit. You had to wait your turn back then. Now, no cats don't wait their turn. They just hit the portal and take off. But I remember Randy Etzel came in. We needed a returner, and he fucking threw me in the Syracuse game. Mm-hmm. I'm in the dome for my first game, back on kickoff return. I don't even fucking remember the play. I'm back deep. I just said, catch the ball. I catch that shit. I don't know what happened after that. It was so fast. Like, the actual game speed was so fast. And I wasn't used to doing return. I didn't do it in high school.
But that was your opportunity.
But that was my opportunity. Right. So what are you going to do? Nah, coach, like, I went crazy. I just said, catch the ball, fucking run that shit as hard as you can. I don't remember the play. That's how fast it was. And then Dan Davis, one of the seniors or juniors on the team, as I came off to the sideline, Buddy was like, bro, your eyes was fucking like this. You know what I mean? It's my first play ever in college football.
Deer in the headlights kind of.
Syracuse in the dome, bro. Right. Like, come on, man.
Right.
And then as the ball was kicked, before the ball was kicked, Dixon, because that's when we had the names on the back of the jersey. Dixon. I say, yo, catch that shit. But that was amazing, bro. I'll never forget that play. But yeah, that was redshirt freshman year. I kind of got in, and I was doing returns to start.
Okay. So that's what, I don't think a lot of people know that about you. That you talk about that. Like, not everybody is going to just jump right into 30 handoffs a game. Like, sometimes you got to, I never really caught punts. You better get out there and go catch those punts if you want a chance to carry this football. You better go beat a bullet on the punt return. Go be the wedge block sometimes. Like, sometimes you gotta do things you don't want to do in order to get to the places you want to be. So can you speak towards that a little bit on your journey?
Like, as we said before, times have changed. But yeah, man, you got a fucking opportunity. Take that opportunity. Think about certain guys that don't fucking, like, nah, man, I ain't the starter. I ain't doing it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to fucking drop your nuts or whatever you want to call it and go to work, man. You know? And that's how you work your way up. It's just like it's just like another job, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? You start at this level and you work your way up. You prove yourself. You know what I mean? You get better. You get more opportunities. I went on kickoff return, and then I ended up getting my first carry, and then I scored, and then I was leading the team in rushing, and I was all Big East, and then, you know what I'm saying? You got to start somewhere, and I think the kids, they lose that hunger and that discipline and that fucking will to go through the grind.
Right.
It's the grind.
The grit,
Grind, and growth.
That's
You gotta
what
fucking grind through this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different day and age now, but I appreciate that the steps that we had to go through to get to where we wanted to be.
So tell me about that moment where you now took the opportunity to become a special teams contributor, and now what's the moment like where I take over as a running back and I get my feet wet in college football? What was that moment like? Yeah, I'm here. That same practice moment you had, what's the moment like that in college football for you?
So sophomore year, we come into the season, and Donald Brown, who was playing right after Terry Cawley, Donald Brown's a guy that went first round overall to the Indianapolis Colts, played with Peyton Manning and all those guys, played in the Super Bowl. That's my brother.
Another Husky legend.
Exactly. My guy, Donald Brown. Shout out to Don. Donald Brown got into the game versus Louisville, and he got the ball stripped, and the dude picked it up and took it back. We were down 2 touchdowns. They sat him because if you fumble at UConn, your ass coming out the game. I don't know how it is other places, but your ass is sitting. You know what I mean? They put me in homecoming, and I fucking had 100 yards, the game-winning touchdown, and everything. After that, it was over. I started the next game and everything, but sometimes somebody got to get injured, somebody got to fuck up, or, your opportunity comes in multiple ways, man.
Right.
But you better be ready to seize the opportunity. And I was ready. I was hungry. And sophomore year, I remember that game versus Louisville homecoming. Listen, I couldn't go out that night. Every fucking where I went to, bro, like, it was homecoming. They was like, Dre, you fucking won the game for us. I couldn't even go out. It was ridiculous.
Nah, I think the best thing you said was, and you taught me this along the way, is if you constantly stay ready, then you never have to get ready.
You never got to get ready.
You don't have to wait for those opportunities because you're ready at a moment's call.
Exactly.
And in the game of football, you never know when Donald Brown's going to fumble. Like you said, multi-year pro. Like, you're not thinking he's going to, So you could have been a guy, chin strap off, cleats not tied up all the way.
Yeah.
And when Donald Brown fumbles and coach calls you,
you ain't ready. Pouting.
Yeah.
Fucking in your own misery.
Yeah, you're not ready.
You ain't ready.
You don't really want it like you say you want it.
Exactly. So I stayed ready, so I had to get ready.
Right.
Definitely.
And then now you're in the game now. So you're pretty much an ESPN recognizable figure and a culture staple for the UConn Huskies at this point in your career. And just talk about like the heights and the journeys and the firework moments that you've had as a UConn great, because we all remember them. What were the big moments like?
Man, we had number 11 overall, South Florida coming to our house. We beat them. I had over 211 yards. Went crazy. Some really big plays. That's some highs. Some lows is having a teammate, killed on campus like Jasper Howard. You know what I mean? Other highs is, beating an SEC team like South Carolina in a bowl game. You know what I mean? And leading the team in rushing in that and getting MVP. So it's been many highs and many lows.
Yeah.
And it's going off sophomore year, redshirt sophomore year, I lead the entire team in rushing.
Yeah.
And then redshirt junior year, I get 6 carries on the entire year. 6 carries and 36 yards on the entire year. From leading the team in rushing to 6 carries and 36 yards in the entire year, most people would have crumbled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So talking about highs and lows and adversity and having a coach that didn't like this hair but had to accept it because of my talent, not being put on any billboards. You wouldn't see me on any billboards because of my hair. So you had to come to Rensselaer Field or tap into ESPN to come and see me. You know what I'm saying? So I had so many highs, so many lows, to being a guy that beat, that had over 100 yards versus Notre Dame and beat them in South Bend with the game-winning touchdown. Still the biggest touchdown in UConn history, to not getting drafted.
Right.
With your family, sitting with your family, your name don't get called.
That's crazy, because I think as a UConn fan growing up, you always remember where you're at when UConn Huskies beat Notre Dame.
Always. Everybody.
The amount of pride and the amount of motivation and the amount of future young football players that spark to go chase after, to go be a UConn Husky, to go chase after, here in Connecticut on ESPN.
Crazy.
For a long time, we were the small guys. And that moment, that was a moment of not only like do we beat the Louisvilles, the Syracuses, but we beat the Cowboys of the college football face, Notre Dame. So it was just as a fan watching, as a young cat, I think I'm 12 years younger than you. I was looking up to you guys.
Make
like,
me feel old and shit.
So
but yeah, I was part of the squad that changed, UConn football.
Yeah.
I was one of those guys, legendary. And I don't even like to talk about myself that way because how humble I am. But yeah, I really.
Well, you got to put it in perspective. That's why I think this is good for the podcast, good for the interview, because like you said, there is an age gap here. So you don't like to talk about yourself in that sort of light. But like I'm living proof of that was a real thing. I was 12 years old watching you guys as 22-year-olds.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So that's what it felt like for the young crew as, Pee Wee football players who wanted to strive to be Division I football players.
Exactly.
It did feel like, damn, like they just scored a touchdown in front of 40,000. Sold out Renfrew Field.
Yeah.
They're shaking the keys.
Wilding out.
The dreads.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Man. It's some big moments, and I get the chills a little bit just thinking about that shit, because you lose perspective over time of what kind of impact you really had on the community, the people, and on the entire state. Because it was a long time, and we're getting back there now, and people were freaking proud of UConn football. And you can say what you want about basketball. We know what it is. You know what I mean? It's the basketball capital of the world. You know what I mean? If it's the men or the women with UConn basketball. So for us to make a stamp, for us to make a staple, like as UConn football is here and it's on the map, that shit's big, man. And the people of this state don't forget it. It's just crazy that those cats that were young then come to me now like, yo, bro, you had me shaking my dreads in front of the TV. I still got your card on my wall, man. I had your jersey. You know what I mean? Well, I had blonde dreads. My mom made me cut them out. You know what I mean? Shit like that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, and I was a guy that, if you come to the games, people had bobbleheads in the stands and people had fake wigs shaking their head. Like, bro, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, I remember walking out for the bowl game in South Carolina with my shorts on for warm-ups, and the host, like, the stadium erupted, bro.
Could you imagine if they had the NIL money?
Oh, man, I don't want to talk about that. I'm talking about head and shoulders. What? I would have had a nice little free Bronco.
Head and shoulders.
All type of shit. Fuck a Bronco. Give me a Mozzie. I would have had that. What? Take me to Monaco Ford right now. Give me something nice.
They're using your name likeness and image too.
Name, likeness, and image, and that was crazy.
There's people in the stands with the jerseys and whatnot. So
all that.
You got. It's hard not to think about it. Because these kids are getting money nowadays. So.
Oh nah, they doing big now. Nah. Hey, times have changed. I'm happy for the athletes now though. They got more control. It's a lot of bullshit going on, but they got more control over their careers now. I remember it was a time where coach didn't even give dudes their releases when they wanted to leave.
Yeah.
They had that much power over if the guy could leave or not. Think about that shit. You know what I mean? And now dudes is like, you sat me on the bench? Oh, shit, I'm out. Like, you know what I mean?
Shabazz Napier is actually one of the first ones to really... It was a big thing about him after winning the national title game. He's on ESPN the next day saying he was hungry at school.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Like, how you hungry
classic.
And you Shabazz?
And you Shabazz, like...
And that was like 2012, 13. So it was that, and along with some other athletes that, strung along the momentum of why you got some of these guys making millions of dollars now. Is
big paid.
Yeah, so.
No, I get it.
Let me take you back to, you played professional football.
Yeah.
So, let me take you to the moment where you're done at UConn, and now what?
Oh.
As an athlete, like, you're still 23 years old with potential, like, who wants to continue to play. So what was it looking like?
After the bowl game, right before we left for the bowl game, I packed up my whole room and everything. I packed up my whole room. I put it in my car like it was some totes, a TV. And when I came back, I got in my car and drove all the way home. It was crazy. I drove home when the plane landed. I ain't wait and sleep away till the morning. I went and got in my car and drove home. I got a ticket when I got back because I started getting tired at the end. I swear to God. It was crazy. So I drove home. with the MVP trophy from the Meineke Car Care Bowl in the back seat on guard. It was crazy. I drove all the way home, and I got a ticket on the way in North Brunswick. People in New Jersey know how strict North Brunswick is. And bro, my agent flew me out to Florida the next 2 weeks, bro, and I started combine training. So I went to Bradenton, Florida. You know, I had my own freaking suite or whatever. My agent took care of me, man.
Okay.
Yeah, and I trained for a couple months and then went to the NFL Combine. You know, the biggest interview of your life.
So in Indianapolis, is this
like the show? Okay. I went to the show. Like
so who was in your draft class? Like
my draft class, Adama Sue.
Okay.
You know, Matthew Stafford, I believe, was the first overall pick.
I think like C.J. Spiller.
C.J. Spiller, Tim Tebow. Everybody know Tim Tebow.
Yeah, 2007.
Yeah, it was
dogs.
McCoy. Listen, Trendon Holiday, the 40-yard dash though at that time, I had to run behind C.J. Spiller. Sheesh Louise. Yeah, that boy was moving, man. So yes, it wasn't fast dudes. Jacoby Ford, Trendon Holiday was flying. Toby Gayhart. Yeah. So it was some dogs, man. It was some dogs out there, and there was Cal Wilson was one of the corners from Jersey that was coming out. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
So take me all the way up to draft night. Like, what does that look like for you? You're not at the draft, obviously, because you're not one of the invites, but I'm sure you got your phone. I'm sure you're waiting. Maybe you're one of the best running backs in the Big East.
One of the best running backs.
If not the.
Yeah.
Gotta be looking on the phone like, come on now.
Listen, I don't want to say it, but I don't know. I just felt like I was blackballed, man. As it got later in the rounds, you know, I didn't expect to go that high. You know, it was loaded. When I'm talking about C.J. Spiller, you know, and all those different cats, it was a loaded draft. So when they got the fifth through sixth round, I'm sitting there watching it. My name scrolling to the bottom, best available, and they just picking dudes from Toledo who ran a 4.3, or they picking this guy from here that, you know what I'm saying? People that they like, and they just, the next thing you know, the draft was over with. I'm sitting there with my family, and I didn't get my name called. My agent like, bro, you're definitely going. Like, bro, come on, look at your stats. You know, look at the impact you had on a place like Connecticut. You know what I'm saying?
So the draft is over. Do you hang up your cleats?
Nah, not at all.
What's next?
I get signed with the